Everybody, Chad, Nobody Else's Auto. We are in Minden, Nebraska at Pioneer Village, bringing you some of the awesome car collection they've got here. Like we've talked about in these videos before, if you've caught some of the other ones, you have got to check this collection out. Hands down, it is an awesome collection, and what is so awesome is the cars are original. We've done a ton of stuff here. There is no possible way to get them all on videos. We're going to talk about a few of them. You're going to see a ton of cool stuff in the background as we look around at these cars. But there's just so much here. There's 350 cars here, and that doesn't include everything else. The entire premise of this museum is the history of man, the progress man has made since the 1800s. It doesn't matter whether it's a toaster or a Cadillac. They've got all the items they produced in chronological order, so you can see the differences as things progress. So awesome collection. We're obviously here to see cars. So that's what I'm trying to primarily bring you is more car stuff. We're in a building here that's primarily GM stuff. I think this building's all GM stuff. They've even got a few dealer displays hanging up to highlight some of these cars. Obviously, we're in the Oldsmobile area right now with the Oldsmobiles dealer sign. We'll take a quick walk down this aisle. We'll talk about a few of the cars. Like I said, there's just so much stuff here. There's no way to cover it all. But they do have some stuff like these 70s era Oldsmobiles that are really hard to find. These big cars from the 70s. A lot of these cars got demo derby, they got thrown away, they got trashed. Finding good ones, almost impossible today. Super cool to see some of these big 70s cars still being preserved in here, out of the weather, well taken care of, and being protected. So, like I said, there's so much stuff here. There's no way to cover them all, you know. And the cool thing about it is these cars were put in here as found, just like this Oldsmobile with a visor on it. The car had a visor on it when it came in. It still does. Oldsmobile Starfire, a car you definitely don't see very often. Really good looking car with the big wide stainless badge going down the side, or stainless strip going down the side on the Starfires. Super cool cars. Like I said, just so much. There's no way to catch it all. And a lot of these cars, like we've talked about in the other videos, they are preserved as they were found. Getting into some Pontiacs here. You know, there's a big 47, 48 era Pontiac. Lots of awesome stuff. There's a 47 Pontiac, 42 Pontiac, as found. You know, this 58 Buick right here, it's got a broken grill in it. That's how they found the car. You know, as we've talked about before, this collection was started in the 50s. So the 50s, 60s, up into the 70s is when this stuff was gathered up and put in here. So these cars were used cars at the time. They were not anything collectible, a lot of these. You know, we see this Pontiac, the paint's worn off on the fender. The chrome's a little dull on some of this stuff. So that's how they were found. That's how they were added to this collection, which brings us to the car right here. This is a super cool car. 1954 Buick Skylark convertible. Anybody that's familiar with the 53, 54 Skylark knows they are blue chip cars. They have been for years. Every one of them that has been found, no matter how bad it was, no matter how bad of a basket case it was, no matter how rusty it was, these cars were all fixed. I remember when I was a kid, Dad and I literally had to cut up a 53 Roadmaster two-door hardtop that Dad had as a parts car because they needed the entire body shell of that two-door Roadmaster to fix a 53 Skylark. Because a 53 Skylark had been discovered that was so rusty the shell wasn't fixable, so they needed the entire bottom of the Roadmaster hardtop to try to fix the Skylark. Because in 53, the Skylark was built on the big car chassis. Now this 54 was built on the special chassis, but this is an original untouched 54 Skylark, which almost unheard of today because they've all been restored. This car here, kind of a baby blue color. We see the chips in it, the scratches in the paint. And like I said, in today's world, it's crazy to think there is an unrestored 54 Skylark, but it's here. Now, unfortunately, it's not available to anybody because it's in the collection, but that's how this car was found. It was a used car. And let's see what it says right here. Yeah, purchased by Harold Roark, December 29th, 1965 for display at Pioneer Village. So this was an 11-year-old used Buick at that time. People didn't think about it. They didn't think about the rarity of them. He probably thought it was a neat looking car. He purchased it and added it to the collection here at Pioneer Village. That's the type of stuff you see here. That's why this collection is so epic. Where else are you going to see cars like this that are in completely original condition? Yeah, the chrome's a little tarnished. It needs polish, but it's all there. It's good. but there's chips in the front of the hood, just like what happened to these cars back in the day. They drove them down the highway and they had a big, huge, flat front area of the hood. They're gonna get rock chips because that's how those cars were designed back in the 50s. They had big painted areas that are gonna get chipped. We don't think about that today because nobody does, nobody has a car like this in this condition. So that's the stuff you see here, and that's why this collection is so epic. We see some of these cars just like the Pontiac back there with the Fulton visor on it. Things like that. That's what they had back in the day. We'll see, as we go through some of these cars, we're going to see modifications. We're going to see accessories. Some of the modifications aren't going to make sense in today's world. But back in the day, that's what they did. If you caught the earlier video with the 24 Cadillac where they cut it into a pickup, who would even comprehend cutting a 24 Cadillac up today? That's what they did back in the day because that's what they needed. And that's what we see in this collection. So seeing a car like this unmolested 54 Skylark is just so cool and something you just can't see everywhere. You just don't get that opportunity. We've got some more old Pontiacs over here, with the iconic silver streak down the front of this one. This is a 36. And appears to be possibly even an original paint car also. More Buicks over here. 1950 two-door sedanette special. Very cool body style, the way they slope back. In fact, it's kind of neat. If we get a look here, we can see the slope back of the 50 special right behind the 47 Super Sedan, or the 48 Super Sedanette we had in a previous video, where they kind of meet, where they both slope down to the back. Kind of a neat picture. What do we have here? Are these Oaklands or are these Pontiacs? What do we have here? This one is a 28 Pontiac. So, if we remember back in the late 20s, Pontiac and Oakland were sold together. Pontiac was kind of the younger brother of the Oakland, up until about 31 or 32, where Oakland was phased out and Pontiac was the survivor of the two. So, kind of some neat stuff there. Last one we've got here, 1949 Buick Supra, another old four-door, black cars, once again, just as found. We can even see right here on the fender, they got a little close to something and they scuffed it up. But when did they buy this car? Let's see what it says here. Purchased in 1962, and it's a 49 Supra. So this was a 13-year-old used car when it was parked here. At the time, a lot of people probably didn't think, well, why is he gathering up these cars that at the time were just essentially used cars, basic transportation? A lot of cars didn't last much past 10 or 15 years back then. They would literally wear out and be scrapped. So, Harold Warp had a vision. Thankfully, he had a vision, especially for us car guys. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos because I get so excited when I come here. I've been coming here since I was a little kid. I still get excited when I come here. I always see something different. I always learn something new because there's so much stuff here. And seeing these unmolested original cars is so great. And just standing here, look right here. If we look at this 1950 Buick Special two-door, if we look at that front hubcap on that front wheel, that's got a hubcap off of a 53 Special on it. So that literally is how these cars came in. That car probably lost one of its original hubcaps at some point, and they had found one for a 53, so that's what they put on it. And that's how the car is on display, exactly how it was found, exactly how it was preserved back in the day. So I don't know if there's another collection in the country like this. There possibly could be. This one's not too far away from me, and I've known about it my whole life. That's why I love coming here. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I love this place, and it is super cool. If you ever get anywhere near Nebraska, even if you don't get near Nebraska, you've got to come see this collection. It is so awesome. So thanks for being here, everybody. If you're on Facebook, please like the page, share it with your friends, have them come hang out with us. Let's talk about more old cool old car stuff. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos and see the old cool gearhead car stuff we've got on there. As always, thanks for being here. I super appreciate you guys taking some time out of your evening to hang out with me. These are a blast to do. I love talking about cars, and I'm so glad that you guys enjoy them, and I'm so glad that you guys take time out of your day to hang out with me and check them out. So thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you soon. Tons more cool stuff to come from the Harold Warp Pioneer Village in Minden, Nebraska.